Here's a series of events that I did in the bookstore. Unfortunately, I did run into some complications with getting to town when I had the chair. So I'm going to show a series of short videos of me shopping in the bookstore, and I'm going to follow that with a small cooking activity. Again, I had some trouble with that, so I'm doing this as an add-on, and I thought this would be a good area to showcase some issues I had with it. I probably should have just given you my phone. Alright, we're gonna take this covers. And let's do the art effect. Alright, ready?
Yep.
I don't know, Hunter. I don't think it's my color. It's looking green. No, I'm not an extra small. Let's see what's on the other side. Alright, gotta have Jesus. Alright, let's go check out. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience in the bookstore. So what was a little bit of unattainable, as you saw in the first clip, was me reaching for textbooks. I reached as high as I could, and realistically, it's hard to tell what I may or may not have difficulty with. I assumed a C7, so flexion will be difficult in my grasp pattern, and since I was in the wheelchair, I wouldn't be able to get things on the very, very top shelf. One way that I could grade that to be a little easier would be using a basket of sorts, or maybe a reacher depending on my grip strength. Another way that I could grade the activity to be easier as a whole would be to have a basket or something like that on my chair. In actuality, if I were shopping for clothing or something in the store, I would probably have to make multiple trips, just being that I would have nowhere to carry all of the items that I selected. As you did see in the bookstore, I was able to use their stick for hanging and taking off clothing on the rack, and that was pretty helpful for getting things off that top shelf. Again, I don't know if I would be able to use it or not depending on how much flexion I have in my grasp pattern, but that was definitely one way that I used to grade the activity to be easier. So next I will be showing you a quick clip that I recorded in my dorm room of me making the microwavable popcorn. Alright, so for a snack I'm going to make some popcorn, microwavable. Take it out. Pull up to the microwave. As for the popcorn activity, it was a little hard to see from the camera angle, but getting the popcorn out of the plastic wrapper it was in, I did have to use my teeth. I was trying to be innovative, but again, it was a little difficult to pull the plastic down to get the popcorn out, just because I'm supposed to have weaker flexion. Again, I don't exactly know what that would look like in the way of strength. I believe it would vary depending on the specificities of the injury. But also, if you saw me maneuvering around my room, my specific room in Harrington, it's quite small, so getting the chair around was a real pain. So if I were to do this over again, hopefully, well, if I were to do this in real life, I would have a bigger room, or at least a bigger space for me to maneuver. Just to touch on the popcorn activity, I did not have on film me opening it because my friend who was videotaping that specific activity had to leave for class, but I'm sure you all have opened a or seen somebody open a microwave popcorn bag. And it requires a fair bit of, pinching strength, which, is mostly flexion to hold on to the bag to pull it apart. So one thing I actually did to adapt this a little bit is I used finger adduction between my index finger and middle fingers, and I actually used that to try to pinch the tabs of the bag. And it actually worked pretty well to pull the bag apart. So thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day.